Hello, it's Suzy Nightingale here. I am going to go through the gorgeous fragrances in the Perfume Society's latest seasonal scents discovery box, which is spring. We made it to spring. Oh, it is surely the most joyous arrival of a season when spring finally happens. In your box, you will get this lovely card which tells you a little bit about all of the fragrances, and you can go and find the smelling notes online as well to smell along with us. But right now we are going to go through the scents one by one. I'm going to tell you what I think about them, which are my favourites. They kind of all are, but let's go through them one by one. You can try them all at once if you want to. You can try one a day. You can spray them on blotters, spray them on your skin. It doesn't matter, just as long as you try them on your skin eventually. We recommend starting on blotters. If you haven't got blotters at home, then some thick card cut into strips, and then you can number them, name them, and spray them on those first, and then try them on your skin, because that's how you will know which of them suit you best, which of them you fall in love with. But starting with Shea and Blue, and this is their fabulous grapefruit and cedar fragrance. Now this is so refreshing. It's like a cool breeze with sunshine mixed in it. It's got that beautiful pink grapefruit zestiness, that liveliness that we so need at this time of year, especially when, although it's spring, the skies still might be grey. They are today. It's raining here as I record this, but this brings the sunshine into your scent. And beneath that pink grapefruit is neroli. Neroli is one of my favourite ingredients of all time. It's just immediately happy making. It makes you feel better when you smell it. We've got a wellness focus currently on the website, as you can see from our themed articles, but really we're always thinking about wellness in fragrant form. What does that mean? It's about wearing a fragrance that makes you feel better. So it just uplifts you, it gives you that zing, it gives you that burst of energy. I love spraying this on first thing in the morning, and it really does help lift my mood and my energy levels. And then really interestingly, there's coffee bean in this. And I don't know if it's sort of psychosomatic. It's that immediately you smell a sort of coffee note, you feel energized as well. And then cedarwood at the base to just ground you. You're not going to lift off with all that energy, but it just brings everything together. It smooths all of those other notes, and it's such a gorgeous fragrance to wear right now on a dark day when you're longing for summer. It is definitely not yet summer, but if you want something just to get you through the day, this is such a good way to start. Now, another beautiful fragrance in this box is the Tocca, and this is Colette. Now, all of the Tocca fragrances are gorgeous. They're all sort of different characters, if you like. They've all got differing names. And this one is an ombre floral. Now, it's got bergamot in there and mandarin. So again, with the lemon in here, it's giving you that zestiness. It's giving you that burst, that boost of sunshine. Then there's juniper berry and pink peppercorn. And juniper adds a sort of a piquancy. So it's almost herbaceous. It goes really well with pepper. You'll know juniper from your gin and tonic if you like a gin and tonic. It's that really sort of savoury, unusual, but unmistakable note. It runs through this fragrance, and the pink peppercorn adds a sort of fizziness to it as well in the heart, which I absolutely adore. It's got violet, it's got jasmine, and it's got cyclamen. Cyclamen, I think, is such a beautiful spring floral, something that I really savour at this time of year because it is beautiful, but it feels spring-like. Some of the summer florals are more voluptuous perhaps, or we get a lot more citrus obviously in the summer as well. But cyclamen is gorgeous, especially with that violet. It adds that sort of hushed, walking through a woodland feel. in the base you've got incense, musk, sandalwood, amber and vanilla and cedar. So it's woody, it's hushed again, it's soft, it's sort of fluffed at the edges with that musk. And the incense is so beautiful. It's like you can smell incense on the breeze. So it's not like you've just lit incense or you're in church or one of those types of fragrances, which I also happen to love. But this is incense just on the breeze. Maybe you're going for a walk, someone's got their window open somewhere and you can just smell incense drifting through that woodland walk. Gorgeous. Now, Goutal is a house that we adore at the Perfume Society. Anique Goutal, of course, set it up. She was legendary in the fragrance industry. And now the house is run by her daughter, Camille. And this fragrance, Petit Chéri, was actually created with Camille in mind as an inspiration when she was a little girl. And it's such a beautiful story. Do have a look on our website and search for Goutal, Petit Chéri and Camille. And you will see there's an interview that I did with Camille and she talks about her mother and it's very moving, but also about how she wanted to carry the fragrance house forward and how much this particular fragrance means to Camille. Can you imagine having a fragrance made for you? It's so special. It's beautiful to wear. It's got pear and peach and this amazing note of freshly cut grass. And I think, to me, that again, it feels like newness, things growing, spring is happening, it's springing. The moment I smell grass being cut, it's just such a happy smell, isn't it? Because things are growing again. It feels like, yes, the world is moving on, the seasons are changing, good things are coming, the buds are blossoming and blooming, and nature is reawakening as we sort of reawaken with it. And this is such a beautiful fragrance to wear, to reawaken your hopefulness, I think. There's a musky rose in the heart and then vanilla and white musks in the base. So it really cycles through that freshness, the juiciness of the pear and the peach, the freshly cut grass, the floral notes, and then again a really soft, beautiful, pretty base, but also I think strengthening. It feels like it's helping you to be a stronger person, and we also need that at this time of year, especially at the moment. Now, a beloved fragrance is Kenzo Flower. It's an absolute icon, modern classic. Does not even begin to sum up how brilliantly successful Kenzo Flower has been. Alberto Morillas. Now, this is a new version of Kenzo Flower, and it's Kenzo Flower Le Absolu. Now, this is spicy. It's got this spiciness that the original definitely didn't have. And that is with a saffron infusion that Alberto Morillas has used. So saffron, if you think of the colour of it, is golden. It adds this sort of tingle of warmth. In cooking, we can use it and it adds that sort of musky, almost leathery note in a fragrance. And it's a really soft leather, almost a suede-like leather. And together with the Damascena rose and the beautiful orange blossom in the heart, the vanilla in the base, it's smooth, it's so easy to wear at any time, really at any time of year, but I think it's lovely to have a floral, yes, but still some warmth. So it's a bit like, if it's a bit too chilly to wear a beautiful spring dress, you might want to pop on a cashmere cardi over the top of it, as I have today. And it adds almost that layering effect to your fragrance with that warmth and that tingle and that nurturing snuggle along with the beautiful florals. So love that. Now, Creed Spring Flower, could that be more perfect for this box? I don't think so. It's one of their iconic best-selling fragrances, and this is a floral fruity. So we've got bergamot in there again, we've got grapefruit, and we've got green notes. Now, green to me makes me think of sap rising, those buds, that joy you get when you see a bud on a plant, or you see those green leaves unfurling. That's what that feels like in this fragrance. And then some lemon, but that leads you down to this heart of juiciness in this apricot, but you also get the nuzzle of the apricot skin. I think that sort of, it's not as fuzzy as a peach skin, but it's still soft, it's velvety soft, so it's a really interesting fruitiness. You've got jasmine, and then you've got peach in here as well, so that's that deeper, plusher velvet, if you like. Again, really juicy, and then a white floral bouquet. So it's, if you can imagine, sort of the cyclamen, the jasmine, the beautiful snowdrops appearing, all those delicate white florals that are just so pretty and so perfect for this time of year. And then in the base you've got ambergris, cedarwood and musk. And ambergris, I will say, it's like a little sprinkling of seasoning in a fragrance. You definitely know if it's not there, if you took it out of the fragrance, but it's not so noticeable on its own as a note. Together it works, this sort of alchemy, this magic that we adore in fragrance so much. And it adds a sort of mistiness. I always think it feels slightly misty. So maybe you've woken up really early on a spring morning and it's still misty and the sun is rising through the mist. So it's warm, but there's this white mist swirling around you. It feels mystical and beautiful. And then the mist clears and then it properly feels like a beautiful spring day that just lifts your spirits. Such a gorgeous one. Now, the next one, Ruth Marstonbrook signature. Ruth, I think, is a complete genius. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her many times. She's a very quietly spoken, sort of unassuming, definitely not a pretentious perfumer in any way. And she has done so much. She's created some really iconic fragrances for other brands, and candle fragrances for very famous brands, which certain celebrities have adored and demanded that they fill their dressing rooms with. Again, you can search for Ruth and Candle on our website and that story will come up for you. But this signature is her absolute classic. It's a Chypre that happens to be one of my all-time favorite fragrance houses. They are so complex, but this is so beautifully blended and again easy to wear. And this could become your signature. I mean, I don't happen to believe in signature fragrances, just one. Why would you have one when you can have them all? But this could be the one that you go back to the most often. I think when you try this on your skin, you're going to be amazed at how it really changes with you throughout the day. There's bergamot in here for that lightness again. There's pineapple in here for that juiciness and that sort of, it brings a smile to your face, fruitiness. And then black currant, so it's ripe berries, but again, that sort of slight sharpness. It's not too sweet. It's not a fruit salad of a fragrance by any means. There's pink peppercorn again in there, adding that sort of shimmer, that sparkle, that stardust, and mandarin. So that sweetness, that lusciousness, before we dive into this floral heart of rose, jasmine and lily. And then in the base we have patchouli, oak moss and sandalwood. And the way this just melds with you, where it feels like, yes, you can recognize those notes in there. It's not like it goes through each of those on your skin. It kind of, it's so well blended. It feels like this softness around you that's sort of emanating from you as well. Like, I just happen to smell this good naturally, if only. This is such a modern classic again from this wonderful niche British house. She's still making fragrances for other houses, but how we love that she has her own house. They don't bring out loads and loads of fragrances all the time. She's very careful and selective about those that she brings out, and this is one of the all-time classics that you have to try. Talking of sunshine and how much we need it, Lalique Soleil Vibrant. Now they have a whole Soleil range which sort of talks about and is inspired by different types of sunshine. So this is a sunshine that is warming, it's mellow. This is fully into spring when you can almost allow yourself to dream of summer. Can we imagine that at the moment? It is a woody floral, but it's so much more than that. I have enjoyed wearing this. I've actually worn this a lot during the winter. I went to the launch of this fragrance. I fell madly in love with it then, and I really haven't stopped wearing it since. Lalique fragrances are so beautifully constructed. Their bottles are absolutely sublime, as you would imagine from Lalique. But this has got pear and bergamot in it. It's got Corsican clementine, another different type of citrus. Really interesting to try the differing types of citrus in each of these fragrances. Maybe you'll have an immediate favourite. Maybe one of them will speak to you on a particular occasion and match your mood on that day. But it's interesting to compare them and think, oh yeah, the grapefruit's coming through on that, or the lemon is coming through on that, the pineapple's coming through on that. Pineapple isn't really a citrus, but you know what I mean. And then the clementine in this, and mandarin in other fragrances. In the heart, you've got jasmine sambac, absolute. You've got orange blossom, and that's saffron again. So the jasmine is blooming, it's luscious. The headiness of that orange blossom, which again is one of my all-time favourite notes, and then the saffron adding that warmth, adding that that sort of depth. So it's not all lightness, you've got that depth of that saffron that links down to the base. And in the base, you've got cedarwood essence, you've got vanilla bourbon, which is the top quality vanilla that you can get, and you've got dreamwood, which is a sort of clear, very long lasting woodiness, obviously, but it adds a clarity. So it's not a dark woodiness, it's not a really earthy wood. Such a gorgeous fragrance. Now, Brioni, an Italian couture fashion house specialising in gentlemen's clothes, the most gorgeous jackets and suits and shirts and all manner of beautiful accessories as well. And they started doing fragrances with one of the most legendary perfumers, Michel Almirac. He is an absolute master of his craft, and it's really interesting if you have a look on their brand page on our website. If you have a look at the Brioni site, it is really interesting how they talk about working with a master perfumer and how he constructs a fragrance, and comparing that to their fashion and how they hand stitch the clothing and the different layers and the different textures and the different colours that they choose. All of the Brioni fragrances, I would say, are quite pared back. They're not in your face. They're not massive room-filling party fragrances, but they are superbly constructed. And the Brioni fragrances, by the way, are for anyone. I really enjoy wearing them. Yes, I'm probably not going to wear the men's clothing, but the fragrances are for absolutely anyone. So this is an aromatic woody amber, and it's Brioni Essential. And so you've got bergamot again in there. You've got tomato. Tomato leaf is just, it has to be one of the most nostalgic, green, really unique, again, totally recognisable notes out there. I don't think anyone dislikes tomato leaf, do they? Surely not. It makes you feel of touching the tomato leaf and nuzzling it and crushing it and smelling that greenness, the vines and the tomatoes ripening in a greenhouse. You've got cardamom in here as well. So although it's a spice, it's that coolness, it's that aromatic, such a complex spice. It adds so much to a fragrance. It's often used in men's fragrances, actually, or those that are marketed towards men, and I really love it. That and vetiver, I'm there, I'm sold. You've got patchouli in the heart note here. Unusual, it's often used in the base. And then tonka bean to add a little touch of almondy, nutty sweetness. Then you've got sandalwood, you've got ambergris again, and frankincense. So that serenity, that calming, but so chic, so dandified, so stylish. This is a stylish, handsome, gorgeous fragrance. Now, 416 So Tuesdays, their creativity has to be, and their output has to be one of the biggest in niche perfumery. The founder and perfumer Sarah McCartney gets her inspirations from all over the place, from literature and films and music and all sorts of things. And this one is based on Shakespeare's sonnet number 1. You get a little card in the box to tell you all about that. And you can read more on our website. I love how it's sort of wrapped like a sweetie. Sonnet number 1 is a floral, and it's using flowers that are mentioned in the Shakespeare's poetry and in sonnet number 1. So you've got lily and violet, you've got rose essential oil, and you've got some beautiful rose absolute and lavender. And in the base, which is my absolute the base as it dries down, beeswax, hay absolute and white musk. The beeswax in this, it just makes me think of, you know, when you first hear a bumblebee in the spring, and you can see it looking for the flowers that have opened, and you can just close your eyes and you think, yes, the world is coming to life again. Happiness, longer, lighter days are coming, and how we need that hopefulness. But as it dries down, you've got that sweetness of the beeswax without being too sweet. You've got the hay absolute, which again makes me think of fresh cut grass and wildflower meadows, and being able to sit outside again in the sunshine and read poetry. Why not? Now, Molton Brown, I mean, one of the most amazing houses. I was lucky enough to go to a launch of theirs just recently, and for a forthcoming fragrance, stay tuned. This one has to be one of my all-time favourites of Molton Brown. It is their delicious rhubarb and rose, and it's a fruity floral. Now, rhubarb, such an interesting fruity note. Again, really unique, isn't it? That it's not like any other fruit. Yes, it's got a sweetness to it, but there's a tartness and a sort of makes your mouth water just to think of it. You've got raspberry in here as well to add to that sort of the sweetness but the tartness. You've got a little bit of grapefruit and lychee for the lusciousness, and then there's peony and rose and pink pepper in here as well. And in the base you've got musk, vanilla and cedar. It is delicious, beautifully balanced, very nostalgic, I think. If you look at their advertising campaign for this, it's lots of shots in the kitchen and sort of baking, but it's not a gourmand, really. It could have so easily been a really sweet gourmand, and they didn't decide to do that at all. They wanted it to feel like you're picking the rhubarb in the garden, and maybe then you're going into the kitchen and you're baking with it, or you're using it in cooking. So I love that take on the rhubarb. It is luscious and fruity and just enlivening in every possible way, but without being too sweet. And I hope that you find a fragrance that you love in this box. I'm sure you will. Do let us know. Do try them all on your skin and just see how you feel with them. Live with them a little while. Let them breathe on your skin a while. I think sometimes we're in such a rush, we can spray on to the next one. Just take your time, go through the smelling notes and just see how you feel with each one, and let us know. And until next time, we are wishing you a very fragrant day.